university classes, high school classes are not very fun. And I was teaching at last year, I was teaching at a very, very high level of high school. And like all of my students were smart, but even though they were super smart, they were humans. So sometimes they get bored, they fell asleep, or I don't know, they looked so tired sometimes. And I did understand that. Like because when I was a high school student, I was the one who was always sleeping during the classes. And well, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to sleep, but just automatically my eyes closed because I couldn't help. And well, and I didn't hate the classes. I didn't hate the classes, and I liked the teachers, and I was always feeling sorry for my teachers. I was always feeling sorry to my teachers for sleeping during their classes. So that got me think like, all right, maybe like my student in high school looks very tired, but maybe they are feeling in the same way as I did in high school. And that made me think like, all right, maybe I need to think, or I need to figure out a way to make or get my students engaged, or help them help them get, help them engaged in my classes, so that yes. And all right, so I want to figure out a way, but I didn't know how to do it because I was a new teacher. Then I had no experience teaching in a school at that time, so I had no idea. And I went to observe other English teachers' classes in high school. And actually the teachers were doing something in their own classes. One teacher was doing something like, well, all right, so today we have those questions from you to you, answer these questions. And in the next class, from you to you, answer the questions. Well, that was peaceful way. And another teacher was doing something like omikuji. So basically she had a box and there are some sticks in it, and each stick had a student number. So basically she shuffled it during the class and picked up one, and all right, so it's 37, so who's number 37? And all right, so you answer this question. It was like that. It was fun. And another teacher was doing just nothing, right? Let him be. But what I found was interesting, and maybe the most effective way to keep my students' attention was to do pair work. And all right, maybe it because pair work, everyone in the classroom needed to do it. And I did it in my class, and it did work. It worked. So all right, pair work might be the best way, but as I was doing pair work, I realized one thing, and that was my students in high school were not really willing to talk first when I told them to talk. All right, it's time to talk in your pair, talk to your pair, talk to your partner. They weren't really willing to talk first. Maybe they were shy, I don't know, and especially in a silence. So after I realized that, I made sure that they do junkin before the talk. So basically, every time when I make them do pair work, I told them, all right, this is the question, and do junkin, and loser will answer this question. Winner, please listen to your partner. Go. And it did work. Like, winner didn't need to talk. So it worked. But again, as I was doing the pair work, or as I got used to doing pair work, or my student got used to doing pair work, I started doing something more fun with doing pair work in Junkin. So I started doing something fun with Junkin. So for example, I did all losers or winners. So that means, as I told you, as I have just mentioned, I was doing something like, all right, this is the question, do Junkin and the winners answer, go. But instead of that, all right, these are the question. As you can see, we have 3 questions, and to all the questions, winners are going to, or losers are going to answer. And winners or the losers, the other one, will just listen, go. And they get so excited. Like, if I tell them that for all of the questions, losers are going to answer, then they need to win. So they get like, oh, I won, or oh, I lose again. So they got excited. The next one was tell student after Junkin. So basically, I exchanged the order. So again, I tell them that this is the question, and you do Junkin first, and they do Junkin. All right, winners, raise your hand. All right, you guys answer the question. And then they get like, oh no, it's me, or all right, it's you, it's your turn. So it was fun too. But what my students reacted fantastic to was this. Drunken Boy Boy. All right, so you know Drunken Boy Boy? Maybe some of you might be thinking like, all right, so what the hell is Drunken Boy Boy? So I will explain that to you. Drunken Boy Boy is basically like in Futuno simple Junken, you use only one hand, right? Drunken Boy, and that's it. But in Drunken Boy Boy, you use both hands. And you go like, I will show you. Drunken Boy Boy, then どっち隠す and you hide either one. こっち隠す So you give 2 different ones. Can be scissors and rock or paper and scissor, I don't know, anything. And so じゃんけんぽいぽい and you show both and you can see your partner's hands too, and you need to immediately judge or think, all right, maybe I need to hide 隠す Toki, or maybe Gu, in order to win. So it's a kind of like more complicated version of Junkin. But when I told my students that we're going to do Junkin Poi Poi today, they got so like, they got crazy. Oh, Junkin Poi Poi, wow. I was like, what? Is that so funny for you? Like, is that so exciting for you? Because Drunken Boy Boy is something for like elementary school students or kindergarten students. And when you became a teenager, you never use it because this is kind of like childish. So maybe I think you've never seen like oji-san and oba-sans doing Drunken Boy Boy to each other. But when I told my students that, all right, instead of doing Junkin, we're going to do Drunken Boy Boy today, they got excited. And I think that was because that it was too childish. I mean, it was something that everyone in my classroom did when they were little, but they no longer do it. And they kind of forgot that Drunken Boy Boy kind of thing exists. And so as soon as I told them that about Drunken Boy Boy, they got like, oh, natsukashi, I remember that, I did that before. And usually I tell them that, all right, winners do this or winners answer this. But before I told them, they started doing Drunken Boy Boy because they're so excited. And I get like, all right, I thought this is kind of childish for them, but they actually enjoy it. And thinking about it, today, Jackson Lee mentioned about strategy and randomization balance. Thinking about it, maybe Drunken Boy Boy has both of them, like strategies is which to hide, and randomization is like just Junken is randomization. So Drunken Boy Boy has both of it, and my student got so excited about it. So I was happy about it. Then I think I'm being a bit fast, but it's okay. We can have a lot of discussion time at the end.
That's okay. We have about 2 minutes.
All right. So maybe ちょうどいいね. Okay, so pair work, I think, in my opinion, pair work does not need to be something like an activity, like well considered and teachers taking a lot of time, like hours to think about a plan. Pair work can be like a simple one. But if we add some or just tiny element of fun, like fun element, then suddenly it gets so like so engaging activity, so engaging time. So basically what I'm talking today is not huge, like doing Junkin in the classroom or doing Junkin Poi Poi or the way I did Junkin in my classroom. It was the point I'm making is so tiny, but it made a big difference in my classroom. So it's always good to consider a lot about our class plan, but still we have something that we can do without even thinking. So I would conclude that pair work have like unlimited possibility in the classroom, and the way we use it makes a big difference in the classroom, to the class, or for the students. Well, thank you very much for listening, and if you have any questions or comments or feedback or your opinion or your idea or your experience, I would love to hear that. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Natsuho. That was great. If I can just invite everyone to unmute your mic. If you want to turn on your camera, that's okay too. That's welcome. But just please unmute your mic so that we can have a round of applause for Natsuho for that very interesting Junkin Boy Boy presentation. So, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Junkin.
Right, we have